Did he keep his mic on?
I think so.
What's going on? Is someone going to the bathroom?
Welcome back, everyone, to the Nauzecast. I'm your host, Nauze, and today is a special day. I've managed to, after much pleading and begging, which caused me a lot of mental stress because, well, you know them, as well as selling my soul and guaranteeing my beta services forever, because Sal is a bitch, to wrangle 4 of my favorite authors so we could have a special holiday. A holiday special. As such, things will be a bit different this time. I won't go much in depth about each one. And today I'm joined by Liberty Prime, also known as Gomez 36,000, and a few other names like Walalulu, bread lover and owner of the best quill in the world, who happens to also be the author of the genre-defining and my favorite flower pot story, Hope and Healing, as well as another half of this story, which is one of my favorite, with many AU elements. Thank you for joining us, Lib. How are you today?
Pretty good.
Fantastic. We are also joined by our first returning guest, the Trollmaster Salin 91. Also needs no introduction besides the casual. Hey, how are you today, Sal?
I'm doing good. Simultaneously early and late.
You're like in a superposition. Fantastic. Another first timer here in the Nauzecast is the cutest of all, the heartthrob of Salmia Studios, the boy wonder himself, Warden in the North, author of my favorite Tonks Horrific, The Place of Our Longing, as well as the most riveting and awe-inspiring magical system in the life he leads with his Hylian magics. They are so fantastical that even speaking of them give me the chills. How have you been, Wari?
I'm really good, thank you.
Even though it's 3 a.m.?
Yeah. Good time for me. I'm usually okay.
Okay. Last but not least, after many a request and begging and whining, Jesus Christ, stop, please. I have finally the privilege, nay the honor, to present my most venerable, the wisest man of his age, the special, the incomparable, the inimitable, the golden god himself, the one and only Petrificus Samwatus, a man who needs no introduction but deserves them all. The genre definer of the defining genres. How are you today?
Nas, I just want to say right off the bat, as you know, it's been my dream to be on your podcast one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, you don't find my writing worthy of that.
I hate you.
So this is a great consolation prize. I'm really honored to be here.
That's good.
So thank you.
Thank you for being here. So, thank you all for joining me for this holiday special. And because of it, we will have many questions that are themed around the holiday. So, the first one goes, what's your favorite chess move, opening, and why?
Ward, you first?
Can I take this one? Yeah, sure. I'm so happy about asking this question. This is really a dream come true. I began playing chess when I was about 6. And I began as an E4 player. I'm still an E4 player. E4 offers the most open games, the most interesting games.
Mm-hmm.
And it teaches you to think creatively and tactically, rather than just relying upon set patterns that a lot of games from D4 fall into. So it teaches you to sort of stay present within the game. So E4.
Okay. Sal?
I mean, it's B1 E4, specifically because the best troll opening, the Bong Cloud opening, which Magnus Carlsen can play and crush other GMs with, is a 1E4 opening.
Lib?
Yeah. For the uninitiated, it's E4, E5, E2.
What's the
Exactly.
difference between them?
There is no difference. That is
one.
the order that the moves come in.
Okay.
E4, E5, King E2.
Yeah, I don't know much about chess. Lib, what's your favorite?
I don't know the technical openings for these names. I like to call the one that I like to open with it's fittingly with sort of the Harry Potter theme that we all fall into. It's called the King's Cross, where you let the king out and he just goes and fights all the pieces by himself.
Okay, is that a thing?
It
Like
can be.
an actual thing?
I mean, you're allowed to do it, so yes.
Okay, Patrick.
You know what? This is a great question. What a great way to start this off. I like moving the pawn, the next to the furthest over to the left, forward. Sometimes the furthest to the right, normally the second to the left. I hope that wasn't too technical for some of your listeners, but that's what I like to do.
I
It's a
thought
visualization exercise.
I really expected a checkers joke, but okay.
It's too easy, Nauze. It's too easy.
You gotta subvert expectations to become
Exactly.
the best.
That would be a great comment for the one-on-one podcast that will never happen.
Jesus Christ. Why am I
So,
doing this
anyway,
to myself?
All the A material is waiting for that podcast. All you get is B-roll now.
Oh my god. Next question. What are your favorite characters and pairing and why? In any fandom. And doesn't have to be specific.
Oh, in any fandom.
Yeah.
I should have read these questions.
That's okay.
Oh, and then suddenly I forget every
Okay,
piece
let's
of
go.
media that I've ever seen.
What are
Yeah.
your favorite characters?
So within Harry Potter, I don't necessarily subscribe to the notion of being tied to any one ship. Really depends on, certainly within fan fiction, how it's written. That said, I have a sort of forever had a soft spot for Harry Tonks, as evidenced by the fact that I keep writing it.
Yeah. Thank God.
But yeah, so probably Harry Tonks. And then within other fandoms, it's the only one that really matters is Jon Daenerys in Game of Thrones. Big fan of that.
Saul?
For Harry Potter, probably. I mean, I don't really ship anything specific anymore. Fleur and Daphne, Padma, maybe Susan, they kind of generally draw more interesting alternative universe fiction, so maybe heading that way. But that's more about the plot than it is the character. I probably really don't care. Game of Thrones, I don't know, there's a bunch of good pairings. Daenerys is good. For Naruto, I probably prefer, they make, again, very interesting plots generally.
Lib?
So Harry Potter, yeah, I'm probably still gonna stick to Harry Fleur. I haven't really ventured back at reader much beyond Warden's story. Or Warden's. The two fanfics I've finished since finishing my story have both been Warden stories. And outside of Harry Potter, the only one that really comes to mind is from Stardust, but that's just because it's my favorite movie. So
Which one? Sorry, you cut out.
Tristan and Yvain from the movie Stardust.
Oh, I think I saw that one a long time ago. It's fun. Patrick?
So I think the Harry Potter one's probably just to all of you and anyone who's read anything I've written. It's Harry Hermione. The one off the Harry Potter area is, and it's not fantasy. If anyone's seen the show Friday Night Lights, the main pairing of the coach and his wife, my all-time OTP, and it's for the same reason. Essentially, again, they're both ride or die for each other.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Friday Night Lights, if you haven't watched it, if you're looking for something interesting, and if you're not from America, an interesting slice of life in America as well. But those are my two.
I actually watched the first season of that. It was really good.
Yeah.
I'm watching another thing right now, but I'll try to watch that one after.
I appreciate that, Nauze. Thank you so much.
I still haven't finished the Beatles. Get Back. I'm still...
I should have said that. Lennon McCartney's my all-time.
Okay.
After that.
So next question: what are your favorite tropes, and do you have any favorite holiday tropes in fanfictions?
So I can't actually answer this one now. Favorite trope is probably still actually in Harry Potter is the Ice Queen.
Oh,
yeah, not that I still go
No,
looking
no.
for the stories, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I just love it to death. It's like candy. It's just so easy and basic, but not annoyingly so.
can be done in many
Uh,
different ways.
Yeah, it can be. So can anything if you really get
Yeah,
down
yeah,
to
of
it.
course.
But I don't know. Got a soft spot for that one. And then
Holiday tropes.
holiday. It's like got to be cooking together because I just obviously.
I just remembered the Healing Harry.
Oh yeah, not that. That's a bit too much. But that minus about 400%.
Okay.
Take 400% off.
So,
Favorite trope?
yes.
I don't know. I haven't really been reading as much recently for specific tropes. Mostly, some of them annoy me more than anything. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to pass on that. I don't know.
What about
Holiday
the
tropes?
one that least annoys you?
The least annoys me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The Ice Queen one's fine if they can make an interesting character out. Some of the ones with the Vila are pretty funny. Like the Bond stories are always pretty hilarious. So from that point of view, I guess they're kind of funny stories. So they're great.
What about
And they're and then for holiday, I mean, it's got to be the product placement stories. The one that a lot of product placement.
A close second.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be it. The one where you take like somebody else's great scene and then destroy it because you already wrote it with a bunch of product placements. That's got to be it.
Wardy?
So holiday tropes, I really like. Generally, like things around the Yule Ball. I think it's the ability to have like an event and to build around it is a really interesting feature for a writer. Who you can set a narrative out to it, and that tends to offer more interesting stories than a lot of 40 stories, which around that period tend to be sort of a bit aimless until you get to the second task.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really enjoy Yule Ball things. In particular, there's a Harry Hermione one called Hearts and Detours, by a writer called Stanrick. That is very, very good. And then generally, for tropes, I'm a big fan of Azkaban fics because I'm pathetic.
Like Harry goes to Azkaban.
Yes, big fan. So I started reading fanfiction when I was about 10. And so a lot of my tastes sort of were things that were interesting to a 10-year-old, and they still have a very candy-like soft spot for me. So,
I did not know that about you.
Yeah, so like, even things like Dark but Not Evil Harry,
Well,
things that are just
some are
narratively
really good.
ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Patton?
So this is an interesting question because I think you get burned out on so many. I think the one that I like and I haven't been too disappointed in is that not time traveling but dimension traveling. Harry going somewhere else or someone else coming to this dimension is.
That's my favorite.
I think it's underutilized and it doesn't fall some of the pitfalls that a lot of the tropes do. So I really like dimension traveling. As far as holiday, the only one I could think of, I couldn't really think of anything, but I do like Harry going back to the graveyard at the holiday, like he does in Calling Back to the Last Book when he goes to his parents' grave. I do like that. There are some good romance fics centered around graveyards. There's a few good one shots, but there could be more. So,
raise your hand.
Only enough to probably count in one hand,
Yeah. I doubt you'll listen to this, but okay. Big important question now. Be honest. Do you consider Die Hard a Christmas movie? And what's wrong with you if you don't?
Hot take to start, I don't.
Oh my god. That's it.
It is a
We're
movie
done. We're
that
done.
happens to happen at Christmas. It is
Get
not
out.
a movie
Get
that...
the fuck out.
Okay, goodbye, everyone. Spend my time.
All that time trying to set up Skype just for that. Hilarious.
Wardy. Actually, it's out, but okay.
I don't know. I don't think I do. I think
You're
Die Hard
not
is a very
really
good film.
of the age, like you're a bit on the, like you're a different generation, I think.
I think we were all a bit too young to watch Back in Petri. We were all a bit too young to watch it when it came out.
appreciate you pointing that out. Thank you.
No, it's probably the best film that's set at Christmas, but it's not a Christmas film.
Okay. So
I'd agree with that statement. Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with all of you. It's 100% a Christmas movie. Christmas is clearly you haven't watched it recently. Christmas present throughout the entire movie.
Because it's on Christmas.
He dresses someone up as Santa and says "ho ho ho." These are all things that happen. It ends with them listening to a Christmas song driving away.
It's
and
more
it's snowing.
Christmassy.
It's 100%.
It's more Christmassy
Christmas movie.
than Home Alone. That's my take.
I didn't say Home Alone is a Christmas movie either. Home
I
Alone is
don't
a
know.
movie
What is wrong
and
with you
an out
people?
movie.
What the?
You know what's a
It's
Christmas
definitely
movie?
a Christmas
The
movie.
Santa Claus.
How is Home Alone not a Christmas movie? He gives the neighbor a Christmas gift. That's the whole point of the movie. You guys, this is hurtful. Ward, don't point out that none of you watched Home Alone when it came out.
I was gonna point out that, like, I've never seen Home Alone.
So,
I mean, if you're going to be looking at things to watch at Christmas, and Die Hard is one of the options, or one of the other Christmas movies, I mean, you're pretty much going to choose Die Hard a lot of the time, especially if you got children and they're like, let's watch Frozen again. So, yeah, I mean, it's a great Christmas movie for that reason alone.
good. Very good.
Wait, Die Hard or Home Alone? Did you say Die Hard or Home Alone?
Both. I mean, we'll just.
Oh,
go
okay.
Okay. What's your favorite holiday story? Either fic or original fiction? I mean, either fanfic or original fiction.
Okay, I actually did have.
Can
an
be
answer for
movies
this,
and stuff.
this one that I read.
Which one?
It is Terry Pratchett's The Hogfather.
I like Terry Pratchett. It's funny.
Yeah, me too. It's both a book and a very excellent movie.
Didn't know it had a movie actually.
Yeah, absolutely worth a watch.
Saul?
I think probably the first thing that kind of pops into my mind is the Endless Seven. He did an update on Christmas Day, I think, a couple years ago to Vidum Paramus Rail story, the Quidditch story without Quidditch actually being played in it, and I quite like that. It's a fic idea, just a short little update on a finished fiction.
The one with Luna?
No, Harry Gabriel.
Ah, okay. Sorry. Warding?
Yeah, so I'm a big Charles Dickens fan, so probably say Christmas Carol. So I remember reading it when I was really, really young, and it sort of sticks out. A lot of his writing sort of shaped how in Britain we view Christmas, like white Christmas and that sort of thing. An honourable mention again goes to Hearts on Beatles. It's a really, really good book. Would recommend reading.
Okay. Patrick?
So this is super basic, and again, I wasn't alive when this came out, but It's a Wonderful Life is, for me, the quintessential Christmas movie, but it's also more than just a sappy Christmas movie if you've ever seen it. It gets a little dark and depressing, and
yeah,
It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know if I...
So the payoff is earned. It's fantastic.
it is. It's a really good quality, like really old movie.
Yeah. I just thought of one. Niles, a favorite fanfic, Traditions by Petrificus Somewhatus. That's a good one. I just thought of that. Sorry.
We Learn to Dance by Wharton. Read it. Give me attention.
It's centered around Christmas and New Year's. That was the question, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Christmas happens, and actually, I'm going to change my answer to chapters 24 and 25 of Hope and Healing.
Okay.
Can I also change my answer?
Sure, why not?
You guys, you should do it now because you're not getting a one-on-one podcast. This is our one chance
Yes.
Oh,
to actually talk about our own writing because it's not. Nouse doesn't think it's good enough to make his normal podcast.
Yes.
The official. We're just the B-roll.
Let it
actually,
out. Let it all
in
out.
that vein, Warden, do you want to talk about chapter 16 for me?
Yeah. If you want to cry, read it. It's amazing.
Okay.
Just out of context, only chapter 16.
That's it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna cry.
I would recommend reading the chapters preceding and following it. But yeah, it's really, really good.
Okay. What do you wish there was more of as far as tropes and characters, or even pairings in fanfiction?
What? Could you say that again?
What do you wish there was more of as far as tropes or characters, or even pairings?
Tropes? I wish that there was more, and this is just me and the way I approach fanfiction. I recognize that not everyone is as
Competent?
No. I do realize that not everybody is. Sorry, I forgot I'm with Petrie. I gotta up the confidence level. Yes, I do wish there was more competence, like fanfiction. No, I know not everybody is as gung ho about it as I am, but I do wish that there was more like examination of tropes and rather than so many.
Rehashing.
Just people going along the rails and rehashing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point, because the tropes aren't the problem. It's the fact that everyone falls into the same pattern. They start with the trope and then they follow that same progression. That is the problem.
Yes, absolutely.
That's how a trope is made. It's so good that everyone want to do, and then it's done badly.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I did Teleology, is because I love the Ice Queen, but I didn't want it to just be like, oh, she's not very friendly, but then Harry falls for her anyway. Like, that didn't make a lot of sense. And, I kind of can't stand all the OP Harry fics, but it would be interesting if there was one that examined, like, what having immense power is like. Or, sort of almost a Superman story, a good Superman story of, like, this person who has to be extremely careful at all times. Which isn't everyone's cup of tea, I know people want to see the pew-pew, kill, but
of course.
I'd like to see more of that.
Characters or pairing? No?
Characters... no, I don't really have any particular character I'd like to see more of. It's all, like, all my answers are going to be about quality and amount of thought put in. Any character can be made interesting. It drives me insane. I'm going to rant for a second. It drives me insane when people are like, after reading some fanfic, I hate this character forever. I can't stand that. Like, it's dumb and it annoys me. And any character can be made good, even if they're like, like a bad guy.
Even if it's Voldemort.
Yeah, like any of them, given the appropriate arcs and a good enough voice and all that. So any character done better, and pairings. There's none that I really feel are underrepresented. I mean, there are, but like
that you can
again
that much fun.
That I care about. Yeah, I'm not quite the diehard shipper that I appear to be.
Saul.
Yeah, which was more as far as tropes. I mean, I think more towards what my reading tendency is, which is more alternative universe or something changed, like Petrie was pointing out dimension hopping. I mean, that kind of story is difficult to pull off because it's quite original if you're going to rebuild the world into a different dimension and really think through it. But, I mean, that kind of style of writing, you don't see a ton of in it, or if you do, it's, they finish kind of building up their idea of the different world and then they don't tell a story afterwards. They don't have one and it's abandoned. So that would be great to see more of those. As far as like tropes or things, sometimes you see a fair bit in the romance where somebody has a good relationship, like Harry and whatever person they're paired with, and then there's like going to be a longer story and they're like, well, we really need to add some drama between the two of them, and they just like make up like terrible drama just to cause friction between the two characters when like there's no basis for it with like the way the characters interact or the plot, or it doesn't tie into anything. It's just like we shouldn't make it easy for them, but sometimes it's kind of how it works. So that really annoys me. I pretty much drop those fictions immediately. And then other times too, when like people just, I was reading a fiction the other day and they were talking about redoing the world, like the magical government, and like if you just read what they said for like 5 seconds and just like paused and just like thought about this with any critical thinking, you'd immediately go like, they just made this up while they were writing it and didn't even think about this, because if they did, they realized this was like absolutely insane, and no rational person would ever think this was the way to do a government. But they're like, oh yeah, this is cool because Harry thought it up, aka I thought it up while I was writing it, and it was like, okay, well, that's the end of the story too, because they can't have a coherent plot. So
yeah, I do always appreciate those fics where Harry just gets up, makes a speech, and proposes something, and it's passed immediately, and makes everyone's life better. That's always an interesting concept that would never actually happen in any real life. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's horrible. Characters or pairings? Nope.
Yeah, I think there could be some, like, like, for instance, one that I don't really see much of is, like, Parvati.
Mm-hmm.
Harry kind of gets, like, his first essential kind of girlfriend-ish situation, and, I think he thinks she's pretty. That could, like, really kind of change his character, build confidence, and kind of be a nice segue point. As a story start, I mean, you'd have to have a story after it, but there's a lot of characters like that could be really interesting, like, different takes on tropes or canon. Padma is just another good example. Just somebody like that where you just kind of a bit of an off-kilter story you don't really see a lot of. So I'd like to see more of those just because it could be something different to read.
Warden?
So in terms of things I'd like to see more of, it's more of a storytelling feature. I'd like to see sort of what I call smaller stories. So there's a tendency within fan fiction to write fics where everyone is like a billion times more powerful than canon, and like the issue is like the fate of the universe and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly as I've grown, I've tended to enjoy stories in which the issues are smaller and they're more personal. So the notion that things don't have to necessarily be important universally; they have to be important to the characters of the stories that inhabit the stories. Sorry. So yeah, smaller, more focused narratives would be the thing that I think would aid in the quality of better written fan fiction. And just to echo what Lib said, it's weird that people hate characters because of how they were written. Because I view characters as completely malleable. They're not any one thing at any one time. And a character that I'd like to see more of is Cho. So I think
post-war.
Yeah, not necessarily. But post-war would definitely work. I feel like her narrative arc within canon is probably the least satisfying. Because she's sort of a tertiary character.
And there really is so much to work with there. I mean, that little speech Hermione gives when she's explaining it to Harry, what she's going through. There's a lot of stuff going on in her head that year and out.
Yeah, and a lot of the treatment that she receives in fan fiction, is she's very dismissed. I think it'd be nice if somebody was to offer a slightly more holistic take to her.
I don't think I've ever read a Joe fanfic.
There's quite a few that I enjoy. A few polyfics with Harry, Cedric, and Cho. There's one called An Excessive Amount of Politeness. I think it's on AO3. And that's amazing. It's set around the Yule Ball, shockingly. And it's really, really good. But yeah, it's a very rare pairing.
And pairing? Well, you said about Joe, so... Patrick?
I think Ward already hit it as far as what I would like to see more of. Again, if you've read what I've written, I like the universe that's been created there. So sticking in what's there and just tweaking a little bit or changing something a little bit or adding little pieces and keeping it focused on that base, that's what I like to read. I wish there was more of that as opposed to seems like so many people trying to build so much and maybe their grasp maybe not being able to extend as far as they're trying to reach. As far as pairings, when I read this question, the first one that leaped to mind, and I keep thinking about it more and more, is Harry, Katie, Bell.
I can get behind that one.
It's shocking, and again, this is on me because I haven't looked for it lately. But if there's any pairing that seems like it would be the simplest that would make the most sense to write, that you have a very easy path toward, that would make sense. It would be good for both of them. It would make sense for both of them. That's the pairing.
I could see you starting at even first year, because like Katie is a second year, so in theory she and Harry are both first timers in the Quidditch team.
Yep.
So like the bonding there, it's so easy to go over.
And again, I know I'm so one note. 6th year as well. That's all I write is 6th year. But 6th year, her 2 best friends have graduated. They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Harry,
He's lonely. He's still
Hermione's, off
going
the
crazy.
reservation crazy. Ron's got a girlfriend. Ginny's got a boyfriend. What do they have in common? He's the Quidditch guy. It's all right there. And I'm
Mhm.
surprised there aren't more stories. I wish there were more.
That's a good one.
I know there's at least one shot being made or about to be made about Katie, but it's a bit depressing post-war and kind of crazy. Not exactly.
Yeah, I wrote a one shot for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
What's the name? What's the name?
It's called 8 Tonights.
I should take a
Warden,
look.
it doesn't matter if it's really good or not. Just say it's good. Come on. Liberty's
Absolutely
learning.
not.
He's figured this out. Just
You gotta
You'll never-
match Petrie's You gotta try to match Petrie's confidence level. You never will.
you'll never match it.
You
Just do
gotta
your best.
try it.
That's all I'm asking.
Be better. What's your favorite genre to write?
Romance.
Libby. Romance. Straight at.
Just flat out. That's why I read. And that's why I write.
Any variations like Victorian, the oldies.
Like what?
Victorian.
Victorian.
Oh, Victorian. Oh, okay. Like sort of
Yeah, like-
subgenres.
yes.
Fantasy romance, I guess, because my reading background is fantasy,
Mhm.
and it's something I've realized only. That was a good probing question. Good podcasting, Oz.
Thank you.
It's something I've realized only recently, like because I was listening to the Stormlight archives, and I was bored out of my mind, except for like during like potential romance scenes. I was like, man, like this world is really big and interesting to a point, but like the book itself isn't for me. And then I had the thought one day, I'm just like, wait a minute, romance is just a genre that exists, and I can read the books. So yeah, but probably fantasy romance is where I've got my probably as evidenced by Stardust being like my favorite movie. Yeah, that's where I tend to take towards.
Saul, what's your favorite genre to write?
Genre, I don't know. I mean, like I like things that kind of catch my interest to write. So sometimes it's world building, sometimes there's character interactions. There's certain scenarios where it'd be like, Harry should have done this or changed that, or what if these people had discussed something in canon, and that could just kind of start. So mostly just things that catch my attention. I mean, romance is pretty good to write sometimes, but you gotta like the characters that are interacting and want to kind of go along with that. So that's pretty much how I write. Just if it's interesting to me, then I just give it a go, and if I don't like it, then obviously I just move on.
Okay, that's a bit of a non-answer, but okay.
You're supposed to like probe more. Leppy got a probing question. Where's mine?
Nauze, if I'm ever on a one-on-one podcast, you know what? I won't talk back to you and give me constructive criticism. I will take it and do better. Okay, I want you to know that.
Warden.
The same as Liv, I'm afraid. It's romance. The only reason why I write is to write romance stories. Yeah, that's pretty much all that I read these days.
And which
I go through
subgenre?
phases of. Okay. So I suppose fantasy romance is what I read most. In terms of what I write, I like contemporary fiction. So there's a book called Tender by Belinda McKinnon that I've been reading recently. That's amazing.
My favorite.
Yeah, contemporary romance probably.
Yeah, my favorite probably urban fantasy, like the vampire style, but not vampire. Fuck Twilight. Peter?
So again, if it's romance, obviously that's what I
Of
that's all I
course.
write.
I know, but
I
like,
will say the big where I differ from Liv and probably Warren as well. I think I'm the polar opposite as far as the fantasy aspect. I'm much more into and enjoy the mundane, the ordinary, that kind of relationship existing very quietly while everything else is happening around them. But they're kind of that ride or die thing where they're their own team, being very simple, helping each other. You know, when I saw this question, I just kept thinking about all the things I like. Friday Night Lights, Harry and Hermione. There's a movie. If you've ever seen the movie called Once, there's the couple that never actually get together, but they get together and help each other. It's all these boring movies. If you saw them without knowing what's happening below the surface, you'd think they were extremely boring. But they're making their lives better on a daily basis while the world happens around them. So, if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does.
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic.
Got Falling Slow in it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you could conjure up a holiday story from the ground up, what would it be?
I could conjure a holiday story.
Yeah, like what do you
ground
think
up?
it's a random good plot?
It'd probably be some weird folklore take on sort of some holiday tradition. Yeah, probably that. Just which is I think partially a Terry Pratchett influence. His stuff is always recognizable but weirdly different. So yeah, probably that. Just a weird take on the holiday that examines and adds its own weird background folklore too.
Saul?
Conjure up a holiday story. I mean, I have a number of ideas already tucked away. I think, like, even just for ITT, I've got like 3 different holiday Christmas story ideas to do a chapter update, but, you know, I have to get around to writing them. And even just listening to Petri earlier talking about, you know, Harry and Katie's 6th year, you could easily throw Christmas in and being lonely. And then you could get
that'd be a great one.
Katie sneaking Harry out to go see the graveyard to see his parents, and no romance. I mean, I would not write a romance in the graveyard, but
It's a bold choice, Sal. I would agree with you. I would never do it. It's weird, but, you know, I appreciate the bravery of some authors to try that.
You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
But then again, maybe there's some bad shots, right? There's some shots you shouldn't take.
Look, half-court
better.
shots are valid, okay?
I mean, you could have the romance, you know, the impetus for a relationship start in the graveyard and not be weird about it, but, you know, the romance part starting in the graveyard is a bit strange.
Yeah,
but I'm sure you could, like, again, I just heard this from Petri, and obviously there's an easy story idea right there, so, you know, lacking ideas is more just the will and time.
There's so much there, right, Sal? Just thinking about it. That's
So
what
much.
happened. We were just joking around on the Discord the other day, and it started me thinking about it more.
Hold on.
I'm shocked that there aren't more.
Did you really just
I
say
never
on the
lack for
Discord?
Yeah?
Not on Discord.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? Who was the first one who sorted out how to get on this call?
Are we on the internet right now?
Unbelievable. So when I said the Discord, I was referring to Sal's specific Discord.
Just Sal's.
Do you understand? The server he owns.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry, Patrick.
So I was a bit more specific.
You're pretty, Patrick.
Because if I said on Discord, it could be any Discord.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
I was the first one on this call. I just want to make sure we all know that. No problems connecting. No problems with the time. Creating an account. I was set, ready to go. Thank you.
Morty. Your holiday story.
Oh, right, thank you. I completely lost the follow-up question. So, the idea that I like for a holiday story, I tend to like is, because Christmas is often a time about loneliness, it's a period of loneliness for a lot of people. And that tends to be an aspect of my writing.
Very
So so I would sort of enjoy a story in which you have 2 people that probably like in a city, maybe if it could be a Harry Fleur story, a Harry Gabriel story post-war. Two people like cut away from. I mean, Harry doesn't have a family, but Fleur may be away from her family, and they sort of the bonding over being lonely. I think that would be a nice story to tell.
That's good. I like to read that. I usually prefer more slow. Don't want to say angsty, but like, melodramatic maybe. Patrick, which one?
Yeah.
Which story would you do?
So I've always been intrigued by the idea of a post-war story for Harry, where he's kind of finding his feet in the new world. Never had any, holiday things he did. For example, traditions, if you will. Finding his feet after the war, forming his own traditions without knowing it. I think that would make a really good one-shot. Potentially pairing him with Hermione. As he realizes how many traditions he's already set with her. I think that would be a good idea. Traditions by Petrificus Someoneus.
If you
New chapter out this Christmas.
Yeah,
You heard it here first.
I'm just answering the question now, so you asked.
Sure. Just that, right. If you had a magical ability, what would you wish for?
If I had a magical ability, like if I had one free wish,
One,
what would I wish for?
like a mutant, like one thing that you're an expert in, like you can change shapes. That's it. Like a metamorph.
Oh, okay. Ooh, metamorph would actually be really good.
That's what
Yeah,
you're gonna
I
go
think-
with. Metamorph.
Yeah, I am actually gonna go with metamorph. For the tactical utility of being able to get away from like any social situation I could ever want to get away from.
God. You're so social. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
So?
You use magic. It's pretty darn flexible. You can kind
No.
of, like, make all the
No
other
cheating.
powers.
No cheating. Come on. Just one.
Now, so I won't cheat on my answer. And I won't cheat on any answers on the one-on-one podcast if I ever get to do that. I just want you to know that.
I hate myself. Like just one thing you're an expert in. So.
An expert in, like, what about, could you use like the flashes, like crazy speed?
Yeah, just flash speed, for instance.
Sure. Good. That one.
I'm giving you all the ideas. Warden.
Isn't the flashy speed like the best one?
That's what I was pointing out. That's why I pointed
Like
out.
teleportation. Well, I'll say teleportation because why not? I think it's so apparating if there's magic.
But
Yeah, Ward hit on mine. At the heart of it, I don't need to be a hero. I don't want to be a hero. If I can transport wherever I want to go in an instant, sign me up. Forget running, Sal. I just want to transport there.
if you had a wand that could erase something from the fandom, what would you delete, Lib?
If I could erase one thing from the fandom, what would I delete?
Yep.
Myself.
Oh my god. That's morbid.
Let's see. I also read that question and I didn't get any further than that answer. So let me think for a moment.
Okay, let's. No.
Oh no, I did think of an answer. I did think of an actual
Okay.
answer. Is if I get rid of something from the fandom, it'd be it's useless.
How do you mean it's useless?
It's it's at best it's just like, haha, don't we all hate this character, which isn't very good storytelling anyway. Just hop in Discord and say, haha, don't you hate the character? And
I see.
and
The sentiment of like bashing some character from
like bashing
a
a
story.
character. The common examples are, manipulative idiot Dumbledore, or
okay.
messy eating, paid off to be Harry's friend Ron, and all that stuff.
Genie.
It's
potion
it's
mistress.
just it's laziness. It's my old man coming out is kids nowadays don't want to do the work to make characters genuinely fall out, or try and do the work to make them just grow apart naturally, or actually write conflict. They want.
I just want to put one counterpoint in there because I don't disagree with what you're saying, but some of the worst. The reason that's such a trend is because of folks in the mid to late 2000s, that went all in on that. So I can't blame it on the young folks.
That's fair. To be perfectly fair, that era of fan fiction is I was out of fan fiction at the time, so I don't know what that's like, but I can see how it's a pendulum swinging a certain way, but I think it's a time to swing back, you guys.
Saul. I'm losing my voice.
I think it's a pretty easy option for me. When I'm looking for fan fiction, just on the fan fiction app, they can let you have 2 characters to exclude. The first one is always Snape, and the second one is always Hermione.
How dare you? I knew that's what you were going to say. But if I can just say something real quick.
Hold on. No, let me.
I'm so glad. I agree with you. I'm 100% on board with you excluding Hermione.
No, I want to get rid of the Snape and Hermione at the same time in fictions. They should, the pairing is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my life. It's called pedophile.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay then.
For the age gap to work, he's got to be 50 something, not going after a teenager. It's predatory, it's disgusting, it should never be in fiction.
What
and the
about
other thing
time
would be
travel?
the grooming. Well, it would be grooming, right? I've gone back in time. I was 50 and I'm 11, and I love my wife still. That's also 11.
Say
I wanna
Hermione at 17 during the war, she jumps back when he's 16, 17.
So
I would never. This is the best part. When you put those 2 filters in at the top, you never have to see those things. You don't have to think about them. It's just really good.
That's a way better
can
answer.
Can I answer as well for that? Because again, you're pairing Hermione with Snape. Lily stops associating with Snape for reasons when he's 16 and 17. So for Hermione to go back and the whole trope of a woman miraculously saving someone is an awful trope to begin with. So I don't like that either. If she goes back at 16 and he's a piece of garbage, which he clearly is at that point.
Lily obviously quit hanging around him because he got himself a time traveling girlfriend, and it was awkward.
Fair.
Warning.
That's true. We only have Harry's limited perspective, so I could see
right.
that.
Warning. If you could erase something from the fandom.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. It's quite difficult. I think bashing is the best answer.
That's
but in particular,
that's mine as well.
In particular, I think I'd say it's romances between in Muggle-born characters or character affixes, because it doesn't make any sense. Or it doesn't seem them having a healthy relationship is impossible. It seems ridiculous to me.
So, question then, follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say negating the fact that we're in a fan fiction space, and most people don't possess skill required probably to create a story like this. But you're saying it's not a healthy relationship. Is there a good book somewhere in there that is written by a more skilled? Yeah, exploring an unhealthy or sort of featuring an unhealthy relationship like that.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is scope for that sort of story. But I mean, certainly within the question, I think was framed as personally, what would you not want to see? If I want to read romance, I want to read.
That's true.
The decay of a horrible relationship based on prejudice.
You don't?
But not necessarily.
I hit backspace.
No, there's definitely scope for that story. But I think it requires a level of probably growth within a character for it to even begin to work. Because a character that is a Death Eater, for them to have enough respect to allow themselves to love a Muggle-born, it requires a lot of skill of writing. I don't think it's very difficult to find that in time.
Okay, that's good. Patrick?
I think Sal was the one who hit on it earlier. I think what I wish there was less of, or wish more authors understood, was a slow burn is a slow burn to a destination, and you don't have to put artificial obstacles to stop them going to that ultimate destination, out of character fights, other weird things happening to stop it artificially so you can extend your story.
Drama for drama's sake.
Odd draw, yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm not sure who. I know a lot of people like angst, and angst is fine, but angst should be part of the story. Like they're suffering together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they're going through, they should be doing it together. They shouldn't be causing it to each other. And I think there's too much of that. So that's what I would like to see less of.
Do you think that is at least partially a function of the fact that I'd say generally, longer stories equal better. The longer the better. The 1,000,000 word, the 2,000,000 word are most desirable. So people look for roadblocks, or do you think that they think that is how it should be?
I honestly don't. I don't know. It's hard for me to see, because it's hard for me to answer that because I don't like longer stories for that very reason, and I don't like those artificial obstacles. So I honestly think, and again, what do I know? I think it's people thinking that's what writing a romance is, or relationship is.
Instead of
and again, we always have to remember in fan fiction and Harry Potter fan fiction, there are so many people trying this for the first time. So I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt in that way. And I think it's getting better. I really do.
I could agree with that. I'd say, honestly, I think Discord's probably Discord, really. And it might be my own experience and bias talking, but it didn't used to be like this. Authors weren't so accessible. It wasn't so easy to share knowledge and experience so easily.
Yeah,
No, I agree. Yeah. I agree.
Discord's amazing for that.
I think that, like Liberty's point earlier, just as far as whether it's inexperience or just not knowing, I think part of it is they're first time writers. Like we have a lot of those in Harry Potter. They cut their teeth trying to write, and they're going to make mistakes. But I think it's also inexperienced people that don't understand relationships, or people that don't understand character interactions and how they work. Or people that are trying to, they're trying to write romance and they've never been in a long-term relationship, and they don't quite understand that, to keep attention in the story, you can get them together and have the other rest of the story keep your attention versus, keeping the tension of will they get together, won't they get together? I mean, how many TV shows do you watch that are popular that season 1, they're like, I think they're going to get together in the finale, and then it's like season 5, it's like, oh, they might get together this finale. Actually, like they just reproduce what you've seen done terribly in TV sometimes, and continue that, and they just never have been in that and read those kind of stories. So I think a lot of it's just inexperience and not understanding, character dynamics and how they work with the plot, which is again something you would learn as you write more.
Yeah, and similarly, I think a lot of them have probably heard at some point, like relationships are hard and they have their ups and downs, and so when they get to that smooth patch, that kind of kicks in. They're like, well, it can't all be easy, they correctly think relationships have their ups and downs and have difficulties, but then they apply that knowledge incorrectly.
Yeah, and it's scope and scale, right? Because I venture to say we've all known that couple who are awful for each other, that stay together for a long time, and they have weird fights and weird breakups, and they get back together. That everyone else doesn't think those folks should be together. They shouldn't be together long term, right? Mm-hmm. So why would I want to read that? The folks that you stayed with, you from the off, or as you're doing it, you find that bond, and you're still going to fight, but it's not those sorts of fights, I guess is what I'm saying. You still have disagreements, but you work through those. And again, I much prefer us against the world as opposed to us against each other for quote unquote reasons that slow everything down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think arguments within stories, certainly within characters that love each other, have to come from a place of how do we so that we can make each other happy, rather than how do we solve this issue, or how do we just find something to write about until we want to get to the point I actually want to write about. Yeah, the thing that I always took in terms of writing romantic tension, if you want to write that sort of thing, is they both have to want the other person to be happy. It has to be they don't want to be right. They have to be or they want to try and solve this problem rather than just feeding their own narcissism, which is not an aspect of arguments you'll see in writing. Certainly in fan.
That was completely out of topic. I love it.
Oh yeah, we went way off.
Great probing question.
Hey,
Great.
if you could travel anywhere with an unlimited budget, where would you go and why? Live.
I'll probably go visit Ward.
That's cute.
My answer is just visit Luke.
That's really cute. But why?
But why?
Yeah.
Warden's the best. So we can go right in the Italian villa.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Liberty just said he wanted to see Warden, and your response was, "But why?"
Fuck you, Pat.
Did I hear that correctly?
I just want
Wow.
to make him embarrassed, that's all.
Wow.
Jesus. You love twisting my words. Fuck you.
Not twisting your words, you said exactly
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I don't know if directly quoting you is.
Shut up!
Quoting
Fuck you
it in
all.
context directly.
But, I was totally fair with that comment, but I get why I will never get a one-on-one podcast. I understand it.
I hate you. So, where would you
I mean,
travel?
obviously, it's Europe for me. I mean, I've been to America a bunch, been to South America before, so Europe is expensive. They've got great history, more
Where were
museums,
you
and even
in
to watch
South
some
America?
soccer.
You know what's cheap though? My spare room. Come visit me.
I'm already living there. Back off, so.
Now, ask the question. But why would you want to visit Warden? Go ahead.
Shut up, well, since Warden already answered, Patrick.
I mean, I can't move. Everyone's coming here. I can stay still.
So I don't like beaches. I don't that doesn't appeal to me. I think I might have told you this before now. The things I like doing, going to shows, eating good food, etc., etc. So New York, London, Paris, larger cities like that, that's what I would do every time, especially with a limited budget because it's so expensive. Sign me up.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
have a
food's
rotation
good
of those
call.
cities.
Yeah, Warden, let's go out to eat when we.
For sure.
Ward, you said you can come visit me. I don't know. With your unlimited budget, when you come to Gary, be sure to include bodyguards.
Maybe he has an unlimited budget. Maybe he can fly you to New York or LA or something.
To the slums of New
Probably
York or
better.
LA, somewhere much safer than Gary, Indiana.
All due respect, I feel like you two would have more fun in New York or LA. That's just my opinion.
I don't
He
think
has an
they-
unlimited budget. You could go to Manhattan. They're, living up.
I've never been to Manhattan. Let's not go to LA. It sucks to drive in LA. It sucks to be in LA.
There you go. New York.
Sorry, hold on, Warden. To be in LA.
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 Gonna go hiking in LA.
Gonna go to a taco truck in LA.
Jesus.
It's just as cold as a specific kind of cold in LA.
Yeah, it took us longer than I expected, to be perfectly honest.
Trying to be reasonable writers for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, if I could go to Listowel, Ontario, that'd be great. Anytime the show lurking.
Oh, yeah, I've given you my answer.
Oh.
Want to go visit Letterkenny?
Where is that?
Sal, have you ever been to Listowel, Ontario?
I've only been to Ontario once, and it was not there.
Is
I
it
would
far
consider
away from
going
you?
though.
To
Yeah,
Listowel.
just let's just Google this really quickly.
Toronto's in Ontario, right?
Only something like 3,000 kilometers
Oh.
away.
That's
Is
an easy
Toronto in
ride.
Ontario?
Toronto's the center of the world, so probably.
Oh boy, I don't think Sal wants to go to Ontario.
It's Toronto, the French quarter.
No, let's go back.
Okay.
Good fishing in Quebec.
Going fishing Quebec.
Fishing?
You guys need to move on, or me and Warden will never ever stop.
So, what are your favorite foods? Holiday foods?
Probably this Chex Mix that my mom makes.
Chex?
Yeah, it's trail mix basically. Yeah, she just makes it a certain way, and the smell of it. It's one of those things. It's the smell of it always means it's the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Saul?
It's going to be baked goods, specifically things my wife makes. Pershki, cinnamon twists, ginger snaps, peanut butter cookies with the Hershey's Kiss.
oh hell yeah.
There's like Christmas cake that my family makes every year. There's not like a specific name for it, but it's been made for years.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome, amazing, and takes a week to set. So, yeah, those are the kind of things, just traditions.
I remember last year.
Trees got those covered too, but traditions, those are pretty good.
I remember last year when you had a 7 course of basically all desserts for a whole week.
Oh yeah. There's desserts are never lacking at the family gatherings, and sometimes there's more desserts than people, and it's like, wow, this is a lot of food.
Traditions are amazing.
I think
Things like centered around traditions are amazing as well. I think we need more of those. Totally unrelated, but
Mm-hmm. Warden?
So I don't think it's particularly tied toward Christmas, but we only really have that Christmas with my family. My mum makes this cheesecake.
Let's go.
That I think is the least healthy thing that anybody has ever made.
Yes, let's go.
She used to make it, when I was growing up, she'd make it, and then for the next 3 hours, my entire family would just get sleep on sofa. The sugar would just kill us. It was just dead. It was, I don't know, maybe half a foot thick. It's ridiculous.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and the issue is we do Christmas in a pretty big here in my family, and so even then I'm still trying to save room for a cheesecake that's probably going to give me heart disease by the age 25.
Not far away.
what a way to go, though.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you can if you want. Yeah, if you want, you can join my next cooking stream or cake, and you can compare the two.
When is it?
Yeah.
I haven't decided. Sometime in the new year.
Because
I have to make
love the
another
baking one.
cheesecake for. Oh, I'm glad you had a good time.
I skipped out on work
Nauze showed up.
to
Nobody
watch
else
it.
here showed up.
I think I was working.
I'm pretty sure you didn't invite me.
I was
I
working.
didn't know about it, but thanks for letting me know, Liv. I really appreciate that.
I expect you guys to just know.
Exactly.
Especially because neither is on flower pot anymore.
That sounds like
I am. I'm a member. I haven't been there for.
So hold on. So you're yelling at me, but I at everyone. I think 3 or 4 times about it. So
Yeah,
well, I might have
muted
muted that. I might have muted that on this.
I thought by accident.
Liv, you didn't tell me.
Seriously.
I had you muted and locked behind a door.
Liv, I thought, us being in the same being heralded authors that Nauze doesn't think are very good.
Oh my
We're
god.
not worthy enough to get our own podcast. I thought we had a bond that you would DM me directly for those sorts of things. So,
Keeping in theme is neither of us are good enough for personal DMs either. So
that's fair. That's fair. Not nearly good enough. Not even close.
no, maybe one day we'll get out of these group DM podcast situations. But
The exalted Sal, he looks for any excuse to add Sal to. Y'all, you get a podcast. You get a podcast.
Sal gets 5 podcasts.
Now I'm
Exactly,
over it.
exactly.
Okay. Fantastic.
And he's already planning the next one. I mean, just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
He's not lying. That's the worst thing. What's your favorite food, Patrick? Before you kill me.
Oh, that's right.
Do we just take
So-
a pause there?
I
Sure.
won't say it's we're down the gauntlet of it's the most unhealthy thing. I think this is equally as unhealthy, and I will say I think it's probably as American as it gets. So my family has a tradition since I was a little kid. We make this punch.
A long time
Again,
ago.
my parents don't drink, so there's no alcohol involved.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't need alcohol when you have this much fat and sugar and dairy in it. It's essentially you take eggnog, vanilla ice cream, and Liberty red cream soda. Lib, do you know red cream soda?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
combine those into punch, and it is unbelievable.
That sounds.
I don't want to know.
That sounds
sounds
like oil in your
oddly
veins.
Sick.
I don't want to know the calorie count. I don't want to know the sugar content, but it's one of those things you can only have once a year because, as Warden was talking about his cheesecake, you will not live past the age of 20 if this was a normal thing you did. So try it out. It's fantastic.
It sounds
I never
both
had
horrible and
eggnog,
amazing.
so
Yeah.
oh, that sounds good.
Eggnog's a hit or a miss.
All
You either
three
love it or
things
you
are,
hate it.
yeah. All three things are horribly unhealthy for you on
They're,
their own.
they're very
So
not
you
common
combine
here.
their powers and drink it. It's fantastic.
The most American thing would be is if you did it with diet red soda.
That's true. And justified it by putting diet in it.
That's right.
Yeah, that's fair.
You can have it. Then you can have it 4 times a year.
I don't understand why I gained 20 pounds in December. We use diet soda. I blame the immigrants.
I can't wait to hear that definitely in the podcast.
Will that make it to the final cut of the podcast? I want to know. We will see.
Fuck yeah.
Let's see how much of anything Petrie says actually makes it to the
Leave it
podcast.
in now, you coward. I'm calling you out. Leave it in.
Petrie's about to be cut so much he doesn't even get the group podcast.
Now, you know what? Cut whatever you want. As long as those tradition mentions get kept, we're good.
Sorry, what tradition methods? I think we need to hear it a few more times to make sure.
Traditions by Petrovicus Sawadas. I've heard it's the genre-defining holiday one-shot in the Harry Potter community.
Harry
If I were
Potter.
looking for genre-defining holiday one-shot Harry Potter fan fiction, where would I go to find? What websites are they on?
Fanfiction.net, archive of our own.
Oh, on both.
Yeah, it's there. I think it's on.
What
Is it on
Just, you know.
Wattpad yet?
Just give it a shot.
Did you put it on Wattpad yet? That's the real question.
It's only on Wattpad if it gets plagiarized to Wattpad.
Yeah. If you could eat any fictional food or beverage, what would it be? Like from a movie or Harry Potter or whatever.
I mean, I've had butterbeer. That was pretty good.
Where?
At the Universal Studios down in Florida.
Oh, my friend went there. He had it. Some said it was okay. Didn't bring me any.
If you don't like butterscotch, then I like butterscotch.
never had butterscotch. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah. So unironically,
Wonderful.
like the Harry Potter world down there is fucking awesome. So that honestly, the only other fantasy specific food that I can think of is lambus bread. That is all I can think of. So that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I saw a cooking video once for a lambus bread. I think Beep sent me. Saw?
I mean, lembas bread was going to be my number one there to go with. But I think there would be some really good things from, like, I mean, I'd be even just the Harry Potter fire whiskey would be kind of interesting to try. Or butterbeer. But Star Trek and Star Wars would have had some really interesting foods to give a
Yeah.
go.
And a bit
And even if
weird.
you want to find out, like, Calvin and Hobbes, the chocolate frosted sugar bombs, I mean,
Oh
Kinda would
my
wanna try those.
god! Oh wow, that unlocked a
That's
memory.
that's an oldie. Were they?
I think I want to say, like, because if anybody here has read any of the Son of Ice and Fire books, like, there are entire chapters devoted to, like, these elaborate feasts that happen in sort of like Halls of Lords and stuff. I think that probably came to mind first. So any one of the million roasted foods that George R. R. Martin devoted thousands of words to.
Roast.
But I'm going to cheat and say, because it's a drink, you drink it, Polyjuice Potion.
Oh.
Wow, that is a cheat.
Alright, but whose hair is in it, and what does it taste like?
Goblin piss, as per canon. And I don't know, I feel like...
Doesn't the taste change based on whose body part, or whose
Yeah.
whose hair?
Hermione thought Harry tasted very good, by the way.
That's not Lewd at all.
That's
not Lewd
This is
at
a
all.
different podcast.
Yeah.
I think I'd go, I don't know, I feel like Cedric top. I feel like that'd be the way.
Like the actor.
Yes, I mean the character as well.
Oh. What does he taste like? Safe for work answers only.
Tragic,
Cheesecake.
short demises.
Tastes vaguely of grave soil.
Unfulfilling narrative.
Wow. I'm getting a graveyard pick here. One shot. That's just the very minimum. I've seen it happen.
Guess I'm typing this one-handed then.
Does it work on dead people? Can you unbury Cedric?
See, this is exactly where I was headed, Liberty. Exactly right.
Traumatized
Harry
child.
needs that hair. He misses Cedric. He needs that hair to.
Make it.
It practically writes itself.
Go right then.
I would never write a romance graveyard. What kind of a weirdo would do that? Not me. That's for
It's
sure.
not. It's not set in the graveyard. The graveyard's just a set piece.
Well, that's better. Because setting
Yeah,
one
so
in a graveyard is the focal point. Again, super weird.
Well, presumably he had a funeral. You could bypass the graveyard entirely.
Well, yeah, that's true. That would be a little harder though with all those people around.
Well, but true love finds a way.
I don't like.
He has his
thinking-
cloak.
Oh,
Yeah.
He
God.
has his invisibility cloak, so yeah, that makes sense.
I don't like thinking much about like characters that are dead still able to be used for Polyjuice, because like Snape's a potion master. He visited Lily when she died. It's
that's
fucking
upsetting.
creepy. Yeah, exactly.
Why did you have to make it awkward?
Because I've read one like that.
We're all so much happier for looking back at his face.
I'm sorry. Not really. Petra?
So this was I remember thinking about this question, and this is like I feel like this is like the Weird Sisters everybody listening to, or Celesta Warbuck, whatever her name was, with music.
Oh, yeah.
Would music be any better because it's about magic or whatever related to food? But I will say the one I thought of was what Sal mentioned, fire whiskey.
Yeah.
Giving
But
you
there's-
more confidence and feeling warm in your chest and all that good stuff. That would be
I'm
interesting.
surprised no one's mentioned Felix Felicis.
Oh,
That doesn't
it's not
count.
food,
That's a cheat.
cheating. That's
No.
like saying, what if...
Warden
Yeah,
used
You know what?
Polyjuice.
You know what? I apologize now. So that's a great point. Please have me on the one-on-one podcast. I apologize.
You're such a whore.
What a great answer.
Petrie, maybe if you take some Felix Felicis, you might have a chance.
Imagine if this all comes out and he doesn't get one in the end. Like, there's just no.
It's not happening. I think it is destiny.
Yeah,
That is what's happening.
It can't do the impossible. It can just do the almost impossible.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. If you could take a character from a fictional story and bring them to our world, who would you pick? And if you could go inside a fictional world, which world would you go into? Like, pluck a character from any fandom and bring to our world. Who would
It's
you
a
pick?
hard question. I
That's-
wish I'd read the questions now because I'm not so attached to anybody that I'd really want to. Because then that's a person that I have to talk to, right? Like,
I mean,
I've brought them to this world. I have to explain things to them.
You could bring Dobby and make him work for you.
Yeah, but he's really high maintenance, I think.
Monster? Creature.
Could I bring, like, Winky? Winky just drinks and is sad. I think I can handle that.
That's horrible!
But in this era of cell phones, someone would see her, record her. Do you want that? Spotlight? I'm just being practical here.
Well, I'm not going to have her out places.
Wow, so you're just like Barty Crouch. You're going to lock her in a house. Interesting.
Well, I don't leave. I lock myself in this house. What's she going to need to go anywhere for?
It's the sun, maybe.
I guess I could send her to go feed flies, and that could cause an issue. Yeah, I really can't think of anyone that I'm like so. Maybe Captain Shakespeare. I think that'd be an interesting evening. But he'd need to go back afterwards. I don't think I can handle his level of energy. And then any world that I could jump into.
Yes.
I do legitimately think Harry Potter would be neat, provided end up being a wizard. Otherwise, it's just normal everyday life. But also,
it's just
you could ride.
Otherwise, I'm stuck in England knowing that there's magic, but I can't do anything about it. Like, come on. That's worse than being in regular England. Yeah, I think being in Harry Potter would be pretty neat.
So.
I think that was a difficult one, like any character from any fictional story. I mean, I don't know, the first thing I kind of thought would be somebody to kind of be helpful, leader, guidance, like maybe Galadriel or somebody like that, or probably not them. You'd probably want to take one of the even older elves that was actually, smarter, or even a Maya, a Melian, to help guide humans. But that's kind of the first thing that kind of came to mind as far as pulling a character from fiction out.
And jumping into?
It's got to be Harry Potter. I mean, it seems like the easy answer, but it's essentially our world, and you could have magic, and you could still have all of your family and friends around, so that'd be pretty sweet. And, like the chance of crazy death, you just, don't live in England for a while, and then 97, 98, you go back, and then apparently it's all good after that. So, yeah.
All as well. Yeah, for mine, I don't know. It's really difficult picking one. Is it only fantasy, or can it be anything?
No, it can be from anywhere. Any story.
Oh, then it'd be like Tony Stark, so just have like technology.
Ooh. I like Tony.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
Like clean renewable energy. Yeah. I mean, I don't like the character. I think very, very. I don't like the character at all. It's quite bad. I don't like the fan fictions that get written about him. I don't really like the Iron Man films or the Iron Man comics. I think if you want some like push forward technological development, it's him.
And jumping into?
Well, I live in England, so I don't need Harry Potter. Yeah, the issue with a lot of worlds is that because I'm sort of predisposed towards writing, I'd just die. Like, I'd love to live in Skyrim if I was Dragonborn. If I'm not, I'm just a dude. So
like killed forever by the Dragonborn.
Yeah, I'd be the guy in the tower that just gets absolutely murdered by that first dragon.
Just don't take an arrow to the knee, and you'll be fine.
Oh, jeez.
I went there, I know.
Awful.
I know. Better.
So again, I will echo everyone else. This was probably the toughest question, but I think I have a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
I would bring Neo from the Matrix here.
Oh.
Simply to watch him process that he's gone from living in a world that he thought was real.
Oh my god.
To a world that was really real, that was a simulation. And then being brought to the world that was real, the simulation is the reality. So I would love to see him have to go through all that.
And his story
then what happens
is a fiction.
What happens when he, having already left the Matrix, is able to leave our simulation and just
But
vanish?
he can't. It's again, this is all under the premise that we're not in a simulation. If we're in the simulation, forget that. I just want to see him have to go through all that.
Gotcha.
And say, no worries, dude. No worries, dude. You're good. Let me take you to the Social Security office. We'll get you a number.
Would he have any powers? No, right? Because, like...
Well, no, exactly.
He wouldn't be in the Matrix.
Would he like it? Would he not like it because of what he's lost? Because he's not the one?
That's a great
answer.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. That's a one-on-one podcast answer.
Jesus, you're milky. Oh my god. What about what world you jump into?
Harry Potter's the easy one. The hard thing with fantasy worlds is they're all, again, fairly miserable, right? Like you were talking about Skyrim. That's a great answer, except you'll probably die at some point.
Yep.
So this is if you've seen the movie Hot Fuzz, this is what I would like.
Yeah.
So this is what I came up with.
Oh my god.
I love England. I would love to live in the Hot Fuzz world after the movie is over, in that village, after all the murderers are gone, with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, their characters, meeting them at the pub at night. That's what I would like.
I guess in the south of England, that was a fucking nightmare.
Don't destroy my fantasy ward. Just let it go. I don't need the reality.
Like, I think Disney would be fun. Like, in terms of fantasy worlds. People singing. You could sing because everyone can sing. Great.
That would be nice.
But would you just be like a nothing background character that has to like dance when the main characters are doing something? You just have to stop your day and do a coordinated routine.
Yeah, but they're very existentialist in Disney films. They live in the moment. They don't worry about like how unimportant they are to the narrative because they exist within the narrative.
You know what? I think I'm going to stick with Hot Fuzz and just go to the pub every night with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. I'm going to stick with that.
Okay. We can do the exercise now. It shouldn't... What? What?
My bag's ready.
Is this a traditional exercise?
Actually, yes. It should take about like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, maybe. It's a narrative game that's used a lot in writing classes, and I thought it would be fun to do. There's a random list of objects that I'll assign to each of you, and you have to build a short holiday theme plotline with start, middle, end, and then we'll compare the stories at the end.
So it's a plot line. It's not like a
just like
mini story. Just like
just an outline.
Okay.
Like, what would it be?
Okay.
Can I quickly just go to the toilet? By the way, I've been needing
yeah, same.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, quick break.
Into this to see how much gets edited out of what I said. I cannot wait.
I don't actually edit out much.
Hold on, I gotta throw this up there. Petrie and I are the only ones that are like gung ho for this. We stick around the whole time. I mean, he should get his own one just for.
Thank you, Sal.
Oh, Jesus.
Did he keep his mic on?
I think so.
What's going on? Is someone going to the bathroom? So, again, I need to point this out. I get made fun of because I say the Discord, but someone's taking a piss right now with their mic on, and I'm the one who's...
I think it's worthy. I'm gonna send Rose the unedited version as soon as she wake up. Jesus Christ.
She has a one-on-one podcast, right? She's already in the lineup. It's all scheduled, ready to go.
It was supposed to be today, but I asked maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, scandalous. That's all I'm saying. Unbelievable to me.
There's still apples ahead of you.
The psychological warfare being waged.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with my order. No, not at all.
I'm glad we've
I'm back.
figured that out.
Hey guys,
what?
I'm just gonna give you a general Skype, Zoom, Microsoft Teams chat. When you're taking a piss, maybe mute your mic so people don't hear the toilet running. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
That's nonsense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was Martin.
Oh, Warden's not back yet. Okay. Are we reading these all the way out, or are we just mentioning parts of them? What's happening after we're done with this?
Reading what? Like the outline? Yeah, no, like just telling how the story would go. Like character A will do and then B will do.
Alright.
Just a simple idea, but like being as dumb as possible, which shouldn't be hard for Peter.
See, that hurts. You didn't have to say that. I knew we were...
Did I leave my mic?
Yes. That's a nice
So,
flow you have
Warren,
there.
can I ask you a question? Did you laugh when they were being idiots and making fun of me for saying the Discord? Did you laugh? Because I feel leaving your mic not muted and taking a piss, that's worse than saying the Discord. Me personally.
I mean, 100%. Although now this podcast has exclusive audio.
This is why we will never get a one-on-one podcast, isn't it? We're just not professional enough. It's fair.
Freckles didn't leave his mic on when he went to the bathroom.
Okay.
Sure.
Can I start giving the? Please, like write down your.
So do we all get the same thing?
No,
or do we get
no.
different
Each
things?
one get 5 different ones.
Oh wow,
And
you
like,
did a lot
it
of work
doesn't
into
have-
this, didn't you?
It doesn't have to be an actual part of the story. It can just be in the story. It doesn't have to be like
Right, I got it.
a focal point. So I'm gonna start with Lib. I'm gonna give you 5, and then
Okay.
move on. Blow dryer, a rubber stamp, chalk, tiger, container of pudding.
Okay, and then we have a few minutes to work on this,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
have to
yeah.
make this up right
no,
this
no,
second.
no.
Yeah, I'm
You-
assuming we're going to take like a 10-minute break here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Reconvene or something, 15
Yeah,
minutes?
yeah.
And
Okay,
Warden, remember, mute the mic.
No, you don't have to mute.
Are you saying that listening to me piss is not conducive to the writing process?
Well,
Is it
I
what-
think what he's saying is we've heard you do that. We don't want to hear what else you might do in the next break.
We don't know your writing rituals and stuff. Oh god. Okay, so
It's gonna be a hell of an episode to edit.
yeah, that's okay. First one, light bulb, bulb.
Light bulb.
Bulb.
Light bulb? Yeah.
Light, yeah. Couch, a bottle of water, bananas, and a sword.
Did you laugh at your saying bananas? Is that what
Bananas.
just happened, by the way? Did you laugh at that?
I'm sorry, because like I started thinking,
What are
what
you,
Saul
15
is gonna?
years old?
No,
or-
like I started thinking about what Saul would do with bananas.
Again, I don't need to think of that. Sal, please mute your mic.
Words, your words now.
Actually, mine is piss.
Oh my god, no! We banned that. No, please. Peace, boy. Trash bag. Trash bag.
What was that? Say that again.
Trash bag.
Trash bag?
Yeah,
Trash bag?
trash,
Is that what
like-
you said?
like
Garbage
trash.
bag, yeah.
Garbage. Yeah, sorry. Paperclip. Carrots. Nail.
Pardon.
Chair.
I think that fourth one was nail.
Nail. Yeah, nail. Like hammer.
Nail.
Nail.
Like hammer and
Hammer. Hammer. Fingernails.
Right.
Is my pronunciation that bad?
I think
No,
it's
I
mostly
think it's-
Skype.
Mm.
Yeah, it could be male too. It's nothing to do with your accent. It's more
Sorry. Patrick.
Just to be clear, you did say bananas for Sa, right? Bananas?
Bananas, yes. Not
Bananas,
ananas.
got it.
Bananas.
Got it. Perfect.
I got a tub of pudding or whatever it was.
A container
A
of
cup.
pudding.
Cup of pudding, not a tub.
Oh, I was really hoping that it was tub. I had a big
I was gonna
idea
say,
there for a second. Damn
Lib,
it.
I think you're projecting, Lib.
It's what I want for my Christmas miracle.
Patrick. Your words now. Toy robot. Jesus. Toy robot.
What?
Toy robot.
Toy robot. Got it.
Yes. Sheep. Like the bah.
The animal?
Yes, the animal.
It's an
bah.
actual sheep.
Yeah, sheep.
Okay. I got a tiger, so.
Yeah. Bag of cotton balls.
Sure.
That's random as fuck, but okay. A door.
Did you say a tub of pudding? Is that what you said? Okay, door, I got it.
Shut up. A bottle of sunscreen.
Bottle of sunscreen. Okay,
Did I
got
give
it.
you 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I could see you not giving me 5. It would make sense that I would be the
Jesus
one that you
Christ.
don't
Yeah, of course.
spend as much time on thinking about this. So that makes
fucking
sense.
prima donna. Okay.
Nas, what are your
I'm not making 5s. Yeah, I'm not a writer. I'm not making this shit
That's
up.
not true.
Fine. I'll try something. Yes. Pack of cards.
Okay, can we throw them out there first? Tub of pudding. That's number 1. Banana.
It says container of pudding, and it doesn't specify a cup of pudding.
Hand
It's just a
basket.
container of pudding.
Again, I feel like you're projecting. But you could do whatever you want.
I'm going
You're
to
the
do whatever
artist.
I want.
Create your art. But I'm just...
Can
A
of
tiger,
beans.
a container.
A matchbook. What the fuck's a matchbook?
It's just the small thing that strikes.
You know what a match is, right?
Yeah, the
You know
lights
what a
on
match
fire.
is? Yeah, the little things that have 12 of them in it, right? You go and open
Like
it up. And
the one
light 'em
that gives you at the hotels and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Okay.
So does this have to be like fan fiction or is this like original fiction? What is this?
It's just
whatever
outline.
you want.
I guess it
But
could be
holiday
fanfiction.
theme. Holiday. Just remember that. And a shit of pig.
Oh, holiday.
Yes, holiday theme.
Harry in a Santa hat transforms into a tiger.
Eats,
Falls into a tub
eats a
of
cup of
pudding.
pudding.
No, it's a container of pudding. The container is my choice.
It's an interesting one. Artist choice. Container of it.
What do we want to say? We get 15 minutes and we reconvene, or
Sure.
Yeah, then let's all come back in 15 minutes.
Okay.
so whatever time zone you're in, 18 at the end. All right.
Yeah. You got that,
Lord-
Sal?
Love of God, mute your mic, Warden, please. I'm begging you.
Yeah, they're gonna whip that down.
Okay, I'm gonna pause the recording.
I'm back.
Yep.
I don't know, Petrie. Mine is pretty good. I had to be impossibly creative to make this work, but I did it.
Mine is so dumb, Jesus Christ. I basically stole the plot of a movie.
You know, words like transcendent, perfection, life-altering get thrown around way too easily these days.
I'm already recording, okay.
Leave it in. Leave it in, you coward.
Warning?
His mic's muted.
Hello.
Shockingly.
He learned from his lesson. Okay, who wanna go first?
I mean, Petrie's got big britches.
He's got to go first.
Yeah.
So are we it? Are we just explaining it? What are we doing here?
Whatever you wanna do.
I wrote out like a short little. This is more words than I've written in like a month and a half. But okay, so Petrie's going first, right?
So I don't read it. I just explain it. Is that what I'm doing?
However you wanna
I'd say,
do.
Yeah, if you wrote a thing, read the thing.
So I wrote a thing.
Read
yeah.
the thing.
Okay.
I did.
I just
too,
wanna
so
make-
this will be the same.
Are you all sitting down and ready for this?
Oh boy.
Because your life is about to be changed.
Oh Jesus.
I just want to make sure everybody's prepared. All right. Begin scene. How did I end up in this ridiculous situation? I asked
Oh,
myself
hold
as
on,
my
hold on, hold on,
so-called
hold on,
friend.
hold on, hold on.
What are we doing?
Stop.
Wait, what's going on?
Recite the 5 words again, so we know.
Fucking believable, Nauze.
I bet he's more prepared for the one-on-one podcast.
This is so perfect for what I'm going to read, too. By the way, this just goes along with it.
Say your 5 words.
So can you cue me in so I dance to your tune?
Yes.
Just tell me when to go.
Yes, puppet, go.
Toy robot, sheep, a bag of cotton balls, a door, and a bottle of sunscreen.
Okay, let's go.
Should I proceed now?
Yes, please.
Puppet Master. Okay, great. How did I end the situation, I asked myself, as my so-called friend Nauze rattled off the ridiculous words I needed to incorporate into a holiday story in 15 minutes. Toy robot, sheep, a bag of cotton balls, a door, and a bottle of sunscreen. Is this what I've been reduced to? Coming up with some semblance of a cogent, logical narrative for such a random group of items? I was now dancing to whatever tune the Overlord Nauze dictated, all for the privilege of enhancing my already slim chances of earning a one-on-one podcast with my tormentor. It had all seemed so simple when I started out. I'd come up with an idea for a fanfic I'd never read but desperately wanted to read. What's the worst that could happen, I asked. Little did I know that the worst that could happen was me licking at the boot of my beta overlord, subjugating to any and every of his whims. As much joy and enlightenment as Daphne Greengrass in the importance of intent, as well as its companion piece, The Importance of Intent, after the credits had brought the world worth it. Was it worth being led around on a leash, getting cruelly mocked for saying the Discord, having to come up with a sodding, cogent story in 15 fucking minutes? Yes, I immediately answered my internal monologue. Nauze is your friend. The holidays are a time to celebrate friendship. And most importantly, you are an attention whore. More potential podcasts means more follows, faves, and reviews for your wide oeuvre of work. I am a whore, I replied, but I am a fucking clever whore. And holy shit, I've just come up with a cogent, logical narrative while once again making it all about me. I'm just happy you didn't set it in a graveyard because that would have been super weird. But well done, Petrie, my internal monologue complimented. I know, I replied knowingly. I know. Merry Christmas, my internal monologue exclaimed. Merry Christmas, everyone, I answered, but mostly me. The end.
Very well done.
Oh my god, I'm done.
15 minutes, Nauze. Are you happy?
I think you
So
won.
I have a spiritual sequel to that story.
Jesus.
I feel like I might be the only person that did this properly.
What do you mean?
No, mine is done properly. It's not done Petrie style, but it's related.
Wait, are you saying mine wasn't done properly? Did I not follow the rules of the contest?
That is
Or
absolutely
whatever
what I'm
this
saying.
is.
Like,
Yeah, thank you.
here's what it was. It was a creative writing exercise, and you creatively solved the problem.
Exactly. And it's about the holidays.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay,
I'm done.
so my words were bloat, rubber stamp, chalk, tiger, container of pudding. It had to be somehow holiday themed. Mine is loosely holiday themed. Okay. So, snow is falling, and the warehouse boss is shouting, furious. The constant failure of the heat shrink equipment has all but guaranteed that nobody is making it home before midnight, before Christmas is over. People scramble through dirty slush, rolling barrels the moment they're filled and sealed. 2 privately owned 18-wheelers are parked in the lot, their backs open and waiting to be filled up with the barrels. Parentheses. Up to, but not over, the federally allowed weight limit per axle. Close parentheses. Jim's truck is on the left, and it's almost full. He shoves one of the careless workers, almost scratches his truck's immaculate, expensive paint job. Oh, I used the word immaculate twice. Hold on.
Oh my god.
Let's see.
Like that.
His truck's, we'll just say fancy, expensive paint job. When the last barrel's inside, he pulls the cargo down, exposing the giant painted tiger's head to the cold night air. A crash sounds from the bay doors. One of the barrels is spilled. Its contents are running across the ground. The boss curses and runs inside to find that the heat shrinking equipment has finally fully died. Just one barrel away from completion. Meanwhile, with his bill of lading stamped with the company's custom rubber stamp, Jim pulls away, leaving the second driver, Ted, to pull back to the bay to be loaded. He backs his 18-wheeler up slowly, making sure not to cross the chalk stop lines. By the time Ted's truck is loaded, nobody's found a way to seal the last bit of shrink wrap on the final barrel, ensuring safe, spill-free transport. Just as everyone is about to give up hope, the CEO steps out from the back room, having been getting ready for a big appointment he has in just a few hours. The warehouse boss asks the CEO why he has a meeting after midnight. The CEO says it was the only time he could get into the illustrious club. The CEO asks how he looks, having put on a suit and having carefully done up his hair as best he can. The warehouse boss is impressed and looks into the mess of a room that the CEO left behind. He spots a blow dryer laying on the table, asks if he can use it to shrink wrap the last barrel. CEO agrees, but says to be careful. It was a special gift, and he doesn't want it broken or damaged. The warehouse boss takes the monogrammed blow dryer, being careful of the golden initials, PS, engraved inside. He shrink wraps the final barrel and loads it onto the truck. The truck leaves, everyone claps, everyone makes it home for Christmas. Schools all across the state get their pudding delivery on time. Petrie's blow dryer is fine, and he makes it, on time, still immaculate, to his one-on-one podcast.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I would if I could. Are you accepting notes for this? Or?
I'm always accepting notes.
Okay. So it was perfect
Mm-hmm.
until the end. I would replace the word "still immaculate" with "always immaculate." That's the only change I would make. Everything else is fantastic.
I'm feeling a bit inadequate because I wrote like one paragraph.
Sorry, it just kept going, and then I remembered that I had to add in specific words. So,
oh god. Sour award. No, let me go first because like it's so short. My words were pack of cards, a hand basket, a can of beans, matchbook, and a sheet of paper. My character, I named him obviously Patrick. He's forgotten by his family at his house during Christmas Eve, with nothing but some sheets of paper, a matchbook, and a can of beans. When it gets late, he gets hungry, so he uses the paper as fuel and lights them up with matches, and then cooks the can of beans. After he's done eating, he gets bored and goes to his room and gets his pack of cards from his nightstand drawer to play some solitaire. He falls asleep, and when he wakes up, there's a magical handbasket on his nightstand filled with breakfast food and Christmas treats. Then that's it. That's my creative side.
So I'm of two minds with this. Again, if I could give notes.
Sure, go ahead.
It's about me being sad and lonely at the holidays, so
Yes.
that's the negative. But it's about me, so that's the positive. So I all in all, I think it's good.
Word, so who wanna go first?
So my 5 objects were a trash bag, a paperclip, carrots, a nail, and chairs, or a chair. So mine is, it's fanfic, it's Harry Fleur, but why not? So, Harry and Fleur having their first Christmas together in their new apartment. They've just finished buying all new furniture, such as chairs for the new apartment, just in time for Christmas. Gabrielle comes to stay with them in the days coming up to Christmas as the Delacours are busy working. Mrs. Delacour is an enchanter, and she's just finished an enchanted trash bag that, when opened, drags all the pollution and litter from the world, cleaning the planet.
Oh, yeah.
She also has an enchanted paperclip.
Good job, Mrs. Delacour.
She also has an enchanted paperclip that, when used, automatically transfers the information clipped together into the owner's head. Gabrielle, because her parents are so powerful, feeling insecure and lost in the world. And Harry and she's staying with Harry and Fleur, who have just killed Voldemort, and she doesn't know what to do with her life. So she wants to do something meaningful. Fleur suggests that they try and find Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. In the magical world, Rudolph's nose is an indicator not just of literal guidance through the darkness, but of metaphorical darkness, too. And so he'll be able to give her some good advice. To find her, they must find the golden carrot, a carrot that summons Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, once activated. It used to be in a difficult-to-reach location. It used to take a long time to quest there. The story was written by Europeans, so it's just in Canada. So they just get on a plane to Canada, and they end up in a small town called Listowel. They get there, and they meet several friendly Canadian people that help them to get where they need to be, until they're led to a farm owned by a man called Wayne, who grows golden carrots. He offers them the golden carrot if they help him with his chores for the week. They do, and so he says, when a friend asks for help, he helps them, and gives them the carrot. Harry, Gabrielle, and Fleur then activate this golden carrot, and this summons Rudolph from the sky. He speaks to Gabby and asks her if she had a good time on the adventure in finding him, and she says that she did. He tells her that it's all that matters is a change in perspective. Listen, you first have to live purposely. Gabby is happier now, and she goes on to enjoy Christmas with her parents, happy and with a renewed view on life. Harry and Fleur then nail each other at the end.
Well, 10 out of 10.
The plastic bag was great. Like, just squeeze the whole word. That's it. Easy.
What an ending.
Yep. I loved it.
So?
Yeah.
Okay, mine's going to require Nauze to edit in a YouTube video for the
end. Yeah, because that's easy.
Hey Sal,
Yeah,
he wouldn't have done that for you as much as you need. Whatever you need, he'll do it. Unbelievable.
Exactly. Perfect. So mine are light bulb, couch, a bottle of water, bananas, and a sword. And of course, this has to have Ron.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Everybody is overly stressed, and the holidays were here. It's Christmas. Her parents were coming over for the first time since, they remembered her. Since she wiped her memories.
Awkward.
So she wanted this to be perfect. And there was still so much to do. She had to ice the baked goods, the laundry hasn't been folded, the turkey's in the oven, and she hasn't even gone shopping yet for those last-minute items that she just has to have. And Ron, probably doing his new the new Christmas ritual. You could call it a tradition. He's gaming on the couch with Harry, probably without pants on, like every other day she comes home.
That's a hellish view.
But it's okay. She's matured since Hogwarts, and she's realized she can't do everything by herself, and her good-for-nothing husband is sometimes good for something. So she goes to find him. But he's not on the couch. So where could he be? It's okay. She hears a very distinct noise. It sounds like tinkling, like somebody's in the bathroom. So she goes to find him, and she finds him in the bathroom taking a piss with his headset on. She asks him, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that with your headset on?" He says, "Don't worry, babe. I got it. My mic is muted."
That's Dave.
I would never do this on the Discord. My mic is always muted if I'm pissing.
Story.
So now we have a scene break because it's switching to Ron's point of view.
Obviously.
So he pulls up his pants. He walks back to the couch, unmutes his mic, and tells Harry he can't play Halo anymore because the in-laws are coming and Hermione's finally putting him to work. So he gets his wand, he throws on his jacket, and then he goes to get the list from Hermione. But she's all over the place when he enters the kitchen. There's icing, the laundry's in the oven, and the turkey has jumped into the dryer. So he does the smart thing. I mean, he might not be the brightest light bulb in the box, but he's not dumb. He grabs that list and gets the hell out of Dodge. But as he steps out the front door, he reads the list. And he realizes the first thing is very simple. Just go to the grocery store, get the banana. But, why would you need a turkey dinner banana afterwards? Is before, after? Why would you want one? He's not sure. But he sure as heck is not going to go ask Hermione. In that state of chaos, what the hell's going on with a banana for turkey dinner? So that's all good. The second item, though, that's the real specific one. He's got to get bottled water, but not just a bottled water. It says in her very distinct writing, underlined caps lock, Ryan, deep sea water, the water that Daddy likes. So Ron obviously knows where the hell to even go that. He doesn't go to Muggle grocers. What the hell's he going to do? But again, he's learned. He can outsource these problems, so he goes and knocks on his Muggle neighbor's door. And he says, "Hello, Tobuscus. Can you help me find this water?" But Tobuscus is doing something weird. He's singing a song. And the Nauze got edited in here.
Do you like my sword, 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 my diamond sword, sword? You cannot afford, my diamond sword, sword. Even if you could, I have a patent. No one else can make a sword exactly in this manner, manner. Welcome to my manner, manner. I kinda swing, swing, swing my sword, sword. Whenever I get bored, bored, I can swing my sword, sword. I can swing my sword, sword. Once I hit the floorboards, but I had it restored, and it was expensive, but it was a write-off. Swinging is my business, and by that I mean swinging swords. Please do not ignore. Do you like my sword? That was rhetorical. You know I am the oracle. I know you like my sword. It's made of freaking diamonds. If you don't, you're lying. But that would be fine, because it is awesome, and you're probably jealous. I can bring my sword, sword, cause I am the Lord, Lord, Lord of Diamond Swords.
Do you like my sword, sword? My diamond sword, sword?
Oh my god.
The 10-hour version. Just leave it on loop.
Oh my god.
The end. Because you just keep listening.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Sal, that was the most nuanced version of Hermione you've ever written. Bravo. Proud of you.
That's yellow.
Well, I don't know if anybody looked up to us before, but they sure do now.
What was the purpose of that exercise?
I legit, I cannot wait to hear the edited version of this, because poor
I know.
Nauze, wow.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. Oh my god.
There's the.
Fantastic. Okay. Recommendation holiday story, guys. I know what Peter's gonna pick, but go ahead, Peter.
You went to me first, is that right? Well, again, it's obvious. Traditions, Petrificus Somewhat-us. There's so many great stories there. Check them out. You won't be, well, you'll probably be disappointed, but just don't tell me. If you're disappointed,
Keep it to
move
yourself.
on. It's fine.
Yeah.
Not my gut read. Everyone knows those.
I'm going with the Hogfather, like I mentioned before. It's it's about Christmas, but it's also about believing in Christmas and why we need to believe in things at all, because it's Terry Pratchett. So yeah, it's an outstanding read. And the good thing about Terry Pratchett is that you don't really need to read the others, any of the other books to understand one book, save for maybe a few. But Hogfather, you can just start and enjoy it on its own.
Okay. So?
I'm going to throw out there very clearly in the questions, it says recommendation story. It says nothing about holiday.
Yeah, I edited that up.
Yeah, it's okay. There's two. I'm going to pull this because other people did it, like Petrie for the movie. They put a movie instead of a story in the other one. So I'm going to give a fic recommendation because that's not a holiday one, and then a movie. That's holiday. So what's a Gungan?
Oh my god.
Is a good Harry Potter crossover with
Yeah.
Star Wars. If you haven't read it, you should. It starts
It's
the
fun.
most glorious first chapter ever. Just how it begins. You can skip after that if you want, and it would be worth reading just for the how it starts. And then, of course, for a holiday movie, it's got to be Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Of course.
Of course.
I wouldn't expect any other from you.
What I like about that is it's really held up. Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing that doesn't hold up societally.
Yeah. Cancel culture loves this one.
Forget about the kidnapping of women. The dance numbers are amazing. They really are. So
The C in Christmas stands for canceled.
Ward?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't really like Christmas films in general. The ones that come into my mind, there's like a lot of TV shows have really good Christmas specials that I tend to watch at Christmas time. So the one that comes to mind is the How I Met Your Mother one, with Marshall going to meet Lily at the train station.
Oh,
That
I
episode's
remember
really
that one.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the one from Scrubs where Elliot and JD get together. I think in season 2. Really like that. But yeah, I find it difficult to. I don't think. Can't really think of any films that are particularly great.
What about stories though?
I tend to watch. I mean, at Christmas time, there are things I watch. Like I tend to watch The Holiday and and I tend to read Great Expectations. So yeah, probably. I mean, in terms of fan fiction, obviously, With Whom's Dance, it's the best story ever.
Yeah, facts.
Definitely check that one out.
So to sort of piggyback on what Ward was saying, is he entirely forgot that every season of Letterkenny comes out on Christmas Day.
Big facts, yeah. Okay, I changed my mind. That's that.
Yep. There's that, and then there's also, so you can watch the Christmas episode of Letterkenny twice, which is amazing, and then you go watch the bloopers, which is just the coach going on until he makes the entire crew laugh by being the most awkward person to ever exist.
I need to watch some
You
of
have
this
to
because
know.
like the way you talk about it, Jesus, it must be
It's-
hilarious.
It's one of the funniest shows I've ever watched in my entire life.
Absolutely. If we can offer a Christmas gift to everyone that listens to this, it's go watch Letterkenny.
Watch Letterkenny,
It's the best.
enjoy, and then just embrace and enjoy the change in your vocabulary to include most of what is said in that show.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us for this holiday special episode, and thank you listeners for sticking around after so many hours of this podcast. You can find the links for every author or story mentioned in this podcast in the description. And if you like it, share and promote my authors. Their ego will appreciate it. Keep reading and reviewing an author you love. You could really make their day or even make your new friend. Have a great holiday season and Happy New Year. Thank you all, guys.
Thank you.
enjoy the edit, Nauze,
Yes, have fun.
and happy holidays.
Happy Christmas, happy holidays.